Hello children, how are you? I am Masood Fatima. I will teach you social studies. This video is for the students of class 5th. Now in this video, I will continue with your chapter 5, that is the Constitution of India. In this video, I will be teaching you the next topics, that is fundamental rights and duties.
Let's continue our chapter 5, the Constitution of India. Today I will explain fundamental rights and duties. Okay, first of all, let me read out. See, open your page 38 and see on that. Okay, the fundamental rights. The Constitution of India guarantees some basic rights to the citizens of India. These are called fundamental rights. These rights are called fundamental because they are necessary for the well-being of the citizens and their dignity. The fundamental rights are vital for social progress as well as for a smooth functioning of a democracy. While exercising our fundamental rights, we should not infringe the fundamental rights of other citizens. Fundamental rights cannot be exercised at all times. In case of war, emergency, extreme crisis, etc., they remain suspended. Following are the fundamental rights. Now, let me explain it to you. First of all, though, the question arises that what is the difference between rights and duties? So you understand this, children? Means I'll give you an example. That is, for example, you have the right to join a school and study. It's okay. But in return, what should you do for your school? Nothing. Only go study and come back. No. I know it's your right, means your adhikar. But that way though you are wrong. You are not doing anything. You are not thinking about your school. You have to think about your school. Think how to maintain its dignity, how to make it number one school. That is possible by your good behavior, by respecting its rules and regulations, by being a good human being. And it's your duty. Okay? Same is like you are living in your house. That is your right. And parents to look after you. That is also their right. But don't you have some duties to oblige them by obeying, respecting and loving them? So, I hope you have understood this, that this is the difference between rights and duties. You know, rights and duties are closely related. Both go side by side. These are like the two sides of the same coin. Now, fundamental rights were included in the Constitution because they were considered essential for the development of the personality of every individual and to preserve human dignity. Now, let's go through the fundamental rights and read what they are. Okay. Our Constitution has provided some basic rights. These rights are essential for the intellectual, moral and spiritual development, means it's essential for a well-being and dignity. It is called fundamental because it is an essential part for a smooth functioning of a democracy. And while enjoying our rights, we must think of others. Just now I read out in the introductory part. Okay? Means others' rights should not be violated, disrespected or avoided in any way. Fundamental rights remain obviated at times of war, emergency, extreme crisis, etc. Now let's read what are the fundamental rights. Fundamental rights, there are the fundamental rights. First is the right to equality, and then right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. Okay. Now, I'll read out the first one, right to equality. Okay, and right to equality first I'll read and then I will explain. Okay, the right to equality is given in Article 14 to 18 of our Constitution. According to this right, all Indian citizens are equal before law and shall be treated equally in the eyes of law. Okay, it means no Indian shall be discriminated on grounds of caste, religion, race, gender, etc. The right to equality also states that untouchability, a social evil, should not be practiced in the country. Okay, now let me explain it to you, and it is mentioned in the articles 14 to 18 of our Constitution, this right to equality, and you have to remember in which article it is mentioned. Okay, it includes equality. Equality means equal, everyone should be equal. Okay, it includes equality before law. Okay, before law everyone is equal. Prohibition of discrimination means no bhedbhav should be there regardless of race, religion, gender, caste or birthplace. It also provides equality of opportunity in matters of employment, abolition of untouchability, social evils and titles. Everyone should be treated equally. It's not that you are untouchable, you are poor, you are rich, all that. Nothing. Everyone is equal before law, like everyone is equal before in the eyes of God. Okay, same way in before law also, in the eyes of law also, all are equal. Is that clear? Now the next is right to freedom. Okay, right to freedom. Now I am reading it. The right to freedom is mentioned in articles 19 to 22. Please underline it. All the articles you underline in which it is mentioned. Okay, these rights are mentioned in which article, you have to remember that, and I'll say that you please underline it. Okay, so this one right to freedom is mentioned in articles 19 to 22 of our Constitution. This right ensures civil liberty and protects the citizens from the repressions of the government. It includes freedom of speech and expression, freedom to assemble peacefully, freedom to form associations and unions, freedom to move freely throughout the territory of India, freedom to reside or settle in any part of the country, freedom to practice any profession, trade or business which is lawful in nature. Okay, now I'll explain. It's very simple, you must have understood also. It is given, this right to freedom is given in 19 to 22 articles. Okay, and this right gives all the citizens the basic freedom with respect to speech and expression. You can form associations. Freedom of personal liberty means to move freely throughout the territory of India, to practice any trade, any business, but it should be lawful and respectful, and you can live a life of dignity, etc. Okay, then next, third is right against exploitation. This also I am reading. Right against exploitation. Right against exploitation means misuse of anyone shouldn't be there. Like right against exploitation is given in articles 23 and 24. Again I'll ask you to underline it. Okay, of a constitution. This right aims at eradicating all forms of exploitation from the Indian society. It bans forced labor which involves no or less payment for work. It also prohibits child labor by stating that no child below the age of 14 can be employed in any factory, mine, etc. Now, you must have understood that what is given in this right against exploitation. But still I am explaining. This right, is mentioned in Articles 23 and 24 of our Constitution. Okay. It seeks to protect citizens from being forced to work against their wishes. If you are not willing to work, no one can force you to work. Okay. And some forms of exploitations have been declared illegal, like bonded labor, which means making people work without wages to repay loans. Okay, so they are bonded laborers. They are not paid because they have taken loans, and for to pay the loan they have to work. So this is now banned and it is declared illegal. Okay, then uh, child labor. Child labor means below the age of 14 cannot be employed in any factory, mines and anywhere like that. Okay, any industry. Then next comes your right to freedom of religion. Let me read it out. The right to freedom of religion is mentioned in Articles 25 to 28 of our Constitution. Please underline it. It states that every citizen is free to profess, practice and propagate the religion of his or her choice. There is no state religion in India. The Indian state shall not discriminate or prefer any religion. India is a secular state. Now, again I am going to explain it. This right is guaranteed by Articles 25 to 28 of our Constitution. Means Constitution of India. India is one of the most diverse nations in terms of religion. Okay, so many religions like Hinduism, Sikhism, Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, Jainism, etc. are followed. Okay, according to this article, every citizen of India has a right to practice and promote their religion peacefully. It should be peacefully, but again and again it's said that it should be peacefully. And the Indian state shall not discriminate or prefer any religion because India is a secular state. Means not bound. India is not bound by religious rules or connected with any religious matter. Okay. Then next comes the fifth one, cultural and educational rights. These rights are given in Articles 29 and 30 of our Constitution. Again underline it because you have to remember these numbers of the articles in which these certain rights are given. Okay. These state that every community has the freedom to develop, preserve and promote its culture, language and script. It also has the freedom to open and run its own educational institution. Okay. This right is, I asked you to underline, is preserved by under the Articles 29 and 30 of a Constitution. Okay. It provides freedom to all section of citizens to conserve their culture, language or script. They can keep it safe. Okay. They can protect it. Okay. To establish and administer educational institution of their choice. Everyone is free to administer an educational institution of their choice. No one is going to stop you from that. That is your right. But it should be lawful. That is also important there. Okay. Then sixth one is right to constitutional remedies. Okay. This right is given in Article 31 and 32 of our Constitution. Underline this also. This right enables every Indian citizen to safeguard his or her fundamental rights when a person thinks that any of his or her fundamental right is denied. to him. He or she can go to a court of law to get his or her right restored. Okay, means right to constitutional remedies. It is present in which article? In articles 31 and 32 of our constitution. Okay, it empowers the citizen to move to a court of law in case of any denial of his or her fundamental rights. Okay, now remedies. Don't think here remedies means some sort of treatment, but it means to correct or counteract to recover a right. If your right is denied, you can approach court. Okay, so that is there. Now let's go through the fundamental duties. Okay, as since we are now I'm reading it first of all. Okay, then I'll explain. Since we enjoy the fundamental rights, all Indian citizens need to perform some basic duties towards the state and country. These duties are called fundamental duties. Rights and duties are like two sides of a coin. I told you this in the beginning only. The 10 fundamental duties are. Now, since fundamental difference between fundamental duties and rights, I have already told you. Okay, since we are empowered with so many rights, so it's our turn now. Being a citizen of India, it's our moral duty towards our nation to help in promotion of the spirit of patriotism and to uphold the unity of India. Now let me read the 10 fundamental duties which are assigned. Okay, if it's not assigned, then also we should have some moral support towards. We have to be so sincere, courteous towards our country that we should also think of it. We don't have to be selfish like. Okay, as the citizens of India, all of us need to abide by the Constitution of India and uphold its ideals, institutions and emblems. Means we have to respect our Constitution. The rights, the duties, whatever is there, we have to respect it. And we have to respect the national symbols. Okay, then we need to cherish and uphold the ideals like freedom, non-violence, democracy, secularism, etc., which inspired the freedom struggle. Third one is we need to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. We have to protect our freedom because it's not it wasn't so easy to get freedom. So many people, so many leaders have sacrificed their lives, so we must value that freedom. Okay, then fourth one is we need to defend our country and render national service when called upon to do so. We must love our country and we must volunteer ourselves when our country needs us. Okay, then next point is here, that is we need to promote harmony, spirit of brotherhood and respect the dignity of women. So it's our duty now to help in promotion of the spirit of patriotism, to uphold the unity of India and to respect the dignity of women. Okay, then sixth one is we need to value and preserve our rich cultural heritage. Seventh is we need to protect and improve the natural environment, means forests are being cut down. We should not do. Deforestation is bad. We should promote afforestation. Okay, the practice of afforestation. We need to protect the monuments and public property. We need to develop scientific temper, humanism and a spirit of inquiry and reform. We need to strive for excellence in all spheres. Means we have to struggle to make our country an excellent one. Okay, it should be modified. It should be um, valued, and whatever we can do, we should try to do for our country. Okay, so that's all for this chapter. Let's do the book exercises, and before the book exercises, see, glossary part is there. Some words are there, difficult words. You have to learn the meanings of those words and important points. You have to remember these points also. Please go through these points. And then now on page 41, see that practice session exercises begins from page 41. Let's do that. First exercise A is take the correct option. Okay. So first question is, who was the chairman of the drafting committee? This is very clear. 4 options are given, and I have told you, and everybody knows, it's very simple, that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee. Okay, so underline that. Second one is, the Constitution of India came into force on. So 4 options are there also. Option B is the correct option. 26/1/1950 means 26th January 1950. Then third one is, the directive principles of a constitution were taken from which? I have explained that also, and I have read, it's written in the book. It's a Irish constitution, from where the directive principles of a constitutions were taken. Okay. Then fourth one, the fundamental rights are enlisted within the articles. This again and again I said to underline and remember. So this fundamental rights are enlisted within the articles 14 to 32. Okay. Then fifth one, which right prohibits child labor? 4 options are here also. Then B, look at B, right against exploitation. Is that clear? Then comes question answers I'll be giving afterwards. First let's see exercise C, that is fill in the blanks. The Constitution of India is the dash law of the country. In the dash you have to fill the word supreme. I told this, that it is the supreme law of a country. Then number 2, the central government is. Here it's written in, so please correct it and make it is. Number 2, the central government is not in. Is dash to the Parliament of India. In the dash you will fill answerable. Okay. Then comes on page 42, your third fill in the blanks, that is, the directive principles are mentioned in part, do you remember? It's part 4 of a constitution within the articles 36 to 51. Okay. Then fourth one is, the preamble is the dash to the Constitution of India. What it is? I told you it's an introductory part. So preamble is the introduction to the Constitution of India. Then fifth one is, we need to dash for excellence in all spheres. Means we have to strive. In the dash you will fill the word strive. Means a struggle, but you fill the word strive. Okay. Then next exercise comes match the columns. Now column A, I am reading out column A first of all, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Number 2, the Constitution of India. Number 3, directive principles. Number 4, right to freedom. And number 5, right against exploitations. Now in column B, see what are the answers given. You have to match with that. So longest constitution, articles 19 to 22, articles 23 and 24, Constituent Assembly guidelines for the government. Now again, from column A, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, you will match with the D, that is Constituent Assembly. Then number 2, the Constitution of India, that is, you know, the longest constitution. Then number 3, directive principles. Directive principles, what are they? They are the guidelines for the government. Okay. Then right to freedom. Fourth one is right to freedom. In which article it is mentioned? It is mentioned in articles 19 to 22. Okay. And then fifth one is right against exploitation. Right against exploitation is mentioned in articles 23 and 24. That's why I asked you to remember and to underline. Okay. Next comes your exercise E, that is right, true or false. The Constitution of India is the country's supreme rule book. It is true, because yes, of course, it's a supreme rule book. Okay, it is the supreme law of India. Then number 2, originally our constitution had 395 articles and 8 schedules. That is also true. Then number 3, fundamental rights can never be suspended. It can never be suspended. No, it is false, because at the time of emergency, war or any crisis, it can be suspended. It remains suspended. Okay. So number 3 is false. Then number 4, there is a state religion in India. Do we have any such state religion, such common religion? No. We all are following our own religions. So there is no state religion in India. But here it's written there is a state religion in India. So it is what? False. Then number 5, rights and duties are like two sides of a coin. This I have explained to you, and it is very true. Okay. So first one is true, second one is true, third and fourth one are false, and last one is again true. Okay. That's all for this chapter, and thank you.